Hello all, welcome back. Now we'll move ahead from our last video. So in last video, we have created a Cloud Composer environment and you could see the environment is up and running now. As I said, we can call it as an environment and not as a only a Cloud Composer or a Composer cluster, because whenever we are creating a Cloud Composer service or environment, it creates a lot of resources in a Google Cloud. So I'll show you the architecture, what all resources it's created. So I'll go to the diagram here. So this is your composer architecture diagram, and all these services or resources are created whenever we are creating the cloud composer environment. So I'll go through each and every service and I'll just try to explain what is the purpose of this service. So first here you could see the cloud SQL storage and Airflow database. So whenever we are creating the composer environment, it creates one database which is a cloud SQL instance for this Airflow application. So now first we can see this Airflow database in Cloud SQL. So we won't be able to see you in our project. I'll explain you why we can't see that. So if I go to Cloud SQL, we can't see this SQL instance here, but it is showing in architecture diagram. Okay, you could see nothing is here because this Cloud SQL instance for Airflow database and Cloud SQL storage both are in a different project. Now let me scroll up. Here you could see, so this GK cluster is created in customer project, but these two services, Cloud SQL storage and Airflow database, so these are created in a tenant project. So this tenant project is Google managed project and we cannot access these projects directly. Okay, so don't need to find these services in our project. These are used by Airflow, but we cannot have direct access to this project or these services. And these database backup files are stored in this Cloud SQL storage. So I'll just try to show you other services. So this Cloud SQL proxy, so this proxy connects the component of your environment to the Airflow database. So here you could see it's connecting all the components to the Airflow environment or Airflow database. So we'll see these three components now. So this composer agent, so this agent performs environment operations such like updating your cluster, creating environment, and this is responsible for any changes you are making to your environment. Then we have here Airflow monitoring. So this monitoring just collect all the monitoring details and it will send to the cloud monitoring. Okay, then we have Airflow initdb. So here you could see this Airflow initdb. So this just create Cloud SQL instance and initial database schema whenever we're creating the composer environment. Then we have GCS fuse. So this GCS fuse will use this environment bucket in our project as a file system. So I'll show you the GCS bucket created. So whenever we are creating the environment, it will create one storage bucket for our environment, and these buckets will be used as a file system. Now whenever you are deploying an application on an instance, say Linux instance, you will store a temporary files or configuration files on a file system. So in this case we are storing file on a storage bucket, and this storage bucket will be used as a file system on the Airflow. So let me show you that files here. Yeah, so you could see Airflow config file, DAX, data, JSON, logs. So all these files are stored in a GCS bucket, and this GCS bucket will be used as a file system using this GCS fuse. Okay, then we have this FLANDB. So this FLANDB or FLANT is collect logs from the Airflow, and it log will be sent to cloud logging. So that's why you will be able to see all the logs in your cloud logging as well. So it will collect Airflow and composer logs, all DAGs and task related log from your environment or your cluster services. So we'll able to see that in a cloud logging. So these are the major services, and the main service is a GK cluster. So let me go and show you the GK cluster. So there will be a lot of services created in a GKE cluster like scheduling service and other services. I'll show you that servers. Yeah, so this is a GKE cluster created whenever we are creating the environment, and that's why the creating composer environment will be bit costly. Okay, so I'll show here the different services. You could see the Airflow monitoring service, Airflow Redis. So Redis will just have the information about all the tasks, and the worker node will execute individual tasks from the Redis queue. Okay, so you have Airflow scheduler which manage the DAG and task scheduling. SQL proxy, as I said, it will be used to connect all services to the Cloud SQL or Airflow database. Web server is a UI. I will show you because from next video onward we'll be mostly working on a Airflow web server. Okay, and all these services are, so you can ignore this agent because now it's exited as composer environment is created and it is up and running. So now I'll again go back to the composer. So these are the major component of your composer environment. So whenever you are creating composer environment, make sure your service account has all the access to create this GC storage bucket, create GKE cluster, and all other services required for this environment. So we'll go to composer environment back. Okay, so this was the architecture. Now I'll just show you the composer here. Okay, so here you could see in monitorings, you could see all the details. Here you could see the green means this service is running. So if it is down, it will show this red details here, unhealthy. Currently it is healthy. DAG statistics. So DAG, I'll explain you in next video what is DAG. So DAG means you can in job you can call as a DAG in Airflow. So it's just like a particular single job. Okay. Scheduler. So it will show the scheduler details which is used to schedule your DAGs and tasks. Okay. This is web server. So currently this is also healthy. And here you have SQL database statistic. Okay. So you can see all monitorings here. Now just let me go back. Here you could see Airflow web server. So if I click on Airflow web server, it will open Airflow UI for me. Okay, else you can go inside Cloud Composer and you can open Airflow UI. So you have two options to open this UI. Either you can click on that Airflow symbol or you can simply click on this open Airflow UI. Now this is your actual Airflow UI where you can see all the DAGs. So DAG is a directed acyclic graph. So for a job, for other scheduling tool, you can call it as a job, but in Airflow, the similar concept you just need to call is a DAG and it will have set up multiple tasks. So in every environment, there will be one default DAG available, Airflow monitoring, which will just keep checking the web server health. I'll show you this, and it just print something like echo or something, and it will just check, okay, if my job is, you can consider this as a dummy job, and it will check if the status is running. If job is not failing, means web server is running. Okay, so I'll go to this DAG and I just want a graph view so it will be easy to understand. Okay, now this is just doing echo. So I will show you the maximum run here. So you could see it runnings every 6 minutes, you can see. So these are the multiple runs. So every 6 minutes it is running. So first is executed like 1326, then after 6 minutes, so every 6 minutes it is checking and all are successful runs, nothing is failed. So if I go here and if I'll show DAG runs, you could see the status of this DAG. So it's always success because web server is up and running. It never failed. If it is failed, it will show you as a failed. And if I show you the log what this Airflow DAG is default, this is default Airflow DAG. I'll just go inside it and I'll show you the logs. Okay, so here it will show what it is doing. So subtask echo, and what this command, it is just doing echo test. It is just trying to print test output test. It means command is successful. It marking task as a success, and if it is a single task, then your DAG also will get marked as a success. Okay, and if you want to see the code, here you can see the code. Okay, so this is a code. It's nothing but simple echo test command. Now how to create a multiple DAGs, how to create tasks, we'll see in a next session. So for now I just explained the architecture and the overview of a Cloud Composer environment. Now in next video we'll create simple DAGs which will perform a multiple operation using multiple tasks, and we'll see you in the next video.